Okay. Alright. By the next live, I'll have money.
So that was awesome. I'm giving you.
So that I'll put, what's it called? We'll have a theme song. The theme song will be playing.
I thought you wanted to give me.
Oh God! I be you like Twitter people. Baba do give away. God, I hate that thing. Hey, Father, have mercy.
Nobody's online.
Okay. Hello. Let me act like a good person. Hello, everybody. Please, if you're here, hey, Chidima. Nice to see you. Welcome. Wait. Can I cross my leg without them seeing my booty?
How are you asking me? I don't know.
Hold up. I hope nobody's seeing my booty. Oh, girl. Okay, let me arrange myself. God, see fine girl. Oh my God, so fine. Oh God. Okay. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to our live session with Selema Enang.
Hi. Good evening.
So thank you for being here. So this is the first in a series of sessions we're going to have. This was initially slated to take place on YouTube, but I'm not as tech savvy as I thought I was. So the thing was giving me small headache. So I said, I beg, I'm not doing it again. Let me just do it on Facebook Live. So today we're going to talk about emotional Jesus. We're going to talk about emotional intelligence. You know how to use emotional intelligence to build healthy relationships. The title is building healthy relationships. So, but you know, it's emotional intelligence that will help you to build it. I hope you guys can hear me. I might have to log into this thing on this my other phone so that I can be seeing your comments, because Facebook is not showing me. Oh, see,
you now.
See now, plenty people are saying stuff and I was not seeing it that time. Hello, Gosby. Okay. All right. So I'm going to let my guest introduce herself because her CV is very long. See, I'm really hoping that
nobody can see anything.
She is only half of fresh leg that people can see. If you see the whole fresh, let me know. I bet. Let me not come and reduce my breakfast.
I can't see.
She half like this. All right, so I'm going to let my guest introduce herself. This is the amiable, the funny, the inspiring Selema Enang.
Yeah, increase.
So let me stop there because you have a little bit of pride. So she has a little bit of pride, so I'm not going to say plenty before. So introduce yourself.
Hi guys, good afternoon. My name is Selema Enang. I'm a
fitness.
I'm a fitness trainer, nutritionist, and an emotional intelligence coach. So today we're going to talk about building healthy relationships, how to use emotional intelligence to build healthy relationships, what it takes, why your relationships are most probably not working out. Yeah.
Okay. So shall is that the end?
Yeah.
Okay, shall finish. Please hold on, my people. You know, old age has come. So.
Wow, I get it.
So as we were saying,
all right,
I shall be asking her a few questions.
All right.
And she will be answering.
Okay.
So let's get serious.
Yeah, let's be serious.
So first question, right?
Yeah.
You're going to, because we've been hearing emotional intelligence. What exactly? Because I know, like, the first time I heard it, I'm like, what does that even mean?
Yeah.
Right? So, and then I think somebody gave me a book, and then at the back there was like this test for emotional intelligence and everything. You're asking me questions like, do you like water? Are you creative? Blah blah blah. So, you know, just in a bit to find out if I was emotionally intelligent. So I know that there are lots of us who are curious about what emotional intelligence is. So what exactly is emotional intelligence?
I think that I should give a very basic and simple explanation.
Yeah,
because I think that when you compound the definition of emotional intelligence, It just confuses.
Okay, so it's a large field.
Yeah, like there are a lot of things under it.
Okay.
Right, so it's not just one thing. So
Okay.
in basic terms, emotional intelligence is being intelligent about your emotions. In basic terms.
Okay.
Do you understand? So how to communicate your emotions, how to understand other people's emotions, how to manage your emotions. Do you understand? So yeah, how to communicate, how to manage, how to what did I say last? Okay, how to understand other people's own.
Okay.
And then what else? Yeah, being able to problem solve emotional issues as well. So all of that is under emotional intelligence. So that's what emotional intelligence is. But then if you typically, you know, when people hear emotional intelligence, like, oh my god, I'm so big, oh my god, like you don't get you don't understand what that means.
People like me.
Exactly. But then if you break it down into, it's basically being intelligent about your emotions and other people's emotions, and then how your emotions affect other people's emotions.
Okay.
Do you understand?
Okay.
That's basically what emotional intelligence is.
Okay. When I don't hear, should we repeat it? Sure, you people have heard is how to manage your emotions, how to manage or react to other people,
how to communicate
your emotions,
how to understand other people's own as well.
In fact, see, I hope you people came here with pen and paper. I do not want to say it though, because I assume that you know you should come here with pen and paper, but please bring out your pens and your paper and start writing. Okay, so see, I told you that I did not have questions for this.
You have questions?
That you're going to
talking. I had a aimlessly. You have questions. Like, I'm goal oriented.
I forgive you. So anyway, so we're talking about building healthy relationships. So this is expo that you people are going to give me, because I don't have questions that I'm going to be asking her. So if you have any questions about how to build healthy relationships, please drop it in the comment section. I'm going to be reading them out and Selema will answer them. And while she's talking, I'll be drinking my zobo.
Wow, so that's what you give me to.
Oh yes, hold on a minute.
I'll tell them where the zobo is from. Okay, advertise me.
Oh Jesus.
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you.
So the zobo is from her. It's from her shop. Okay, so question 1.
Yeah, question
1. When it comes to relationships, let me just ask like a broad question. When it comes to relationships, how does emotional intelligence come into play?
Oh my god, wow. This is such a big question.
Okay, I know it's a big question, but let's break it down for... Okay, so we'll do this. We'll break it down for me as a person in a relationship. And then... No, not like me. I don't have relationship. I'm single to stupid. I'm single like grain of rice, but... Them in a relationship, not me.
Them in a relationship.
So we'll talk about... you as a person in a relationship, how does emotional intelligence come into play, and then how does it come into play in relationship to English?
Don't worry, I understand you.
Shall people understand that question?
Okay, so basically emotional intelligence is, okay, so there are different aspects of emotional intelligence, right? Okay. So there's self-awareness, there's self-management, there's empathy, there's
so no, wait, say it small, don't rush.
Self-awareness.
Our viewers have data.
There's self-awareness.
Self-awareness.
So self-awareness is basically being aware of yourself.
Okay.
Right? Your emotions, what triggers you, how you deal with those emotions that trigger you.
Okay.
Self-management is how you manage those emotions. Do you understand? So being aware of who you are, what you want in life, that's all under self-awareness. Okay. Now self-management is knowing your triggers, knowing how to stop yourself from being engulfed by emotions, knowing how to have a pause button mentally. That's what self-management is. Empathy, basically, we all know what empathy is. Empathy is being able to put yourself in someone else's position, right? And to see things from their perspective, so that you can be empathetic towards them, right? Then there's relationships. Now relationships is like a whole on its own. It's how to resolve conflicts, how to manage people, all of that. Then there's being, there's motivation and resilience. So all of that comes under like how to solve problems.
You're talking this thing fast.
Yeah, sorry. I talk fast.
Say it slow.
There's motivation and resilience, right? All of that, there's how to solve problems, how to manage other people. That's mostly for like corporate leaders and all of that. Do you understand? But then you should have it as an individual. Do you get? Because you can't like lead a corporation or be a leader if you're not like grounded emotionally as an individual first. Do you understand? So when it comes to emotional intelligence and how like it affects you in relationships, I'm going to give you a practical example, right?
Awesome.
So for example, let's say my dad died, right? And I come to Ekiti to tell Eketi how my dad died. Her being, if she's not emotionally intelligent, right, the typical response will be like, sorry, even my papa died like last year, take cat.
I understand.
That's a very stupid response. I'm very sorry.
No, but it is.
But there is no emotional intelligence involved.
So basically,
in that
it's
response.
like when Nigerians do this thing where we turn, when people come to us and say something happened to them, we turn into a sort of competition, like,
yes.
you know.
Nigerians are really not emotionally intelligent. Well, like a lot of them.
I ain't gonna argue that point.
Yeah.
I'm not going to argue that point.
So yeah, so Eketi tells me that, right? Now, the proper response, if she was emotionally intelligent, would be, oh wow, how do you feel? Like, do you need anything? Can I help you? Do you understand? Like, yes. Do you need anything? I mean, a shoulder to cry on.
I just want that to
okay, stop. A shoulder to cry on. If you need anything, I'm here for you. Do you want to talk, or do you just want to sit in silence?
Yeah.
That's emotional intelligence.
Okay.
Because what you've done is that you've kicked into...
Okay, so I'm hearing that we can't see my guests. That's surprising.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, hold up. Oh.
You can't be shifting. Like, are you disappearing?
I'll be choking my head like this, but she's the star of the show. Can you guys see her now?
But you can't see me, but you're seeing me on...
And they're saying adjust the camera, we still can't see her. And it's like you're showing half.
So can they see me now?
Okay, now you're showing full.
Okay. Where did we stop?
I've forgotten.
Okay, so yeah, so in this, okay, I remember. So in this situation, right, what has happened is that you've kicked into the empathetic part of you, right, and you're able to put yourself in a position like, oh, how would I feel, or what would I do if I was the one that lost somebody, and how I want somebody else to react to me. Do you understand? Mm-hmm. So because of that, you're able to actually like extend the empathy to Eketi, okay, and speak to her in a way that you know that, okay, this is how I would have wanted to be spoken to, or at least have somebody like understand. And I think oftentimes the problem is when somebody comes to you with an issue, people have this thing where they tend to want to solve, right?
Okay.
And that's not actually being emotionally intelligent is you knowing that sometimes people don't want you to solve their problems. They just want you to listen and be there and give a shoulder to cry on.
Okay, so for those who are saying that they can't see me, right? Or they can't see her, please put your phones in landscape mode, okay? Please turn your phone, turn it this way, okay? If you put it in landscape mode, you can see the both of us very clearly. Please let this girl not come and steal my shine. Let me, be seeing her, be seeing me. Okay, or we can push it back. Yeah. You will now see my video now. This video that I'm trying to... You can see... I wish I could slash like that, you can see us now. You see the both of us? Great.
Okay, so it says okay now. So
okay, alright, okay.
Okay, so yeah, so as I was saying, where did I stop? He keeps interrupting me. Sorry. Do you see?
Sorry. Hey, Jesus. And my train of thoughts.
Anyways, like as I was saying, so you in that situation will be extending empathy, right? Mm-hmm. And knowing that, okay, fine. If I respond in a way that I say, oh, me said, my father died now. Why are you angry? I did not cry that time he died. That's zero. In fact, your emotion is zero. Let's give you zero.
And we see it in this thing that just this death that sort of like rocked social media when Ibidunni died. There were a lot of people who were saying, why did her husband go to that?
I made a thread about that thing.
Why did her husband go to that?
And that's another thing. That's another thing that Nigerians don't understand, right? Mm-hmm. I think that, in fact, yes, I'm going to Nigerians because it's a lot. And one thing that you need to understand is people handle grief differently. Yep. Right? Like, I mean, a couple of years ago when my dad died, I literally sat down. I sat on the floor here, actually, by this corner, and I cried till the next morning. And that weekend, I got up and I went back to university. That was it. Yeah. And like I was all around school, bubbly, and oh my god, like going for stuff and dancing, and everybody was like, "Didn't your father just die?" I'm like, "Yeah." They're like, wow, you don't seem like, wow, you're so strong. You don't seem like anything's going on. You're trying, oh, wow. I'm pretty sure that there are people who thought I killed him. I'm not even joking. I am pretty sure that there are people who thought I killed him.
Oh, boy.
And that's the thing about, like, you have to understand that each human being will process grief differently.
Yeah.
There are people who would go into, like, there are people who will literally go into depression and never be, like, it will be
okay,
very long for them to come out. Like, some people actually have to go to therapy, like, for a really long time when somebody close to them dies, for them to actually be able to be sociable again, right? And then there are people who, they don't show up for the burials because they are still in denial that this person is actually dead, right? So it's like a part in their brain, right? It's called in psychology, it's called dissociation, right?
Yeah.
So it's like taking the event that happens, putting it in a part of your head, and then just locking it there, and then dissociating your emotions from it. So dissociate means to disconnect, to put off. So it's like putting it in a box, leaving that box in the middle of the room, where the middle of the room here is inside your brain, right? Leaving it in the middle of your brain, and then just walking away and continuing your life. And that's one of the things that I did. That's why I was able to move on. And I don't think I dealt with my father dying until like 5 years after. And it was so weird because it was my mom. And my mom one day she said, "Why are you so angry?" She's like, "You realize that you have not actually dealt with your father dying, right?" It's like, "You're angry all the time and I don't understand why." And I'm like, whatever. And then I walked away. And then I remember that night, like, in that moment, like, I'd gone to like pray and everything. And I remember like going through like 5 years of all that pain in like 2 hours. And I thought I was going to die because it felt like my heart was going to stop. Like, it was so much pain. So people need to understand that just because you're outside and oh my god, you're bubbling and you're laughing with people, you probably don't sleep at night. I think, like, I mean, I used to have like insomnia before my dad died. Like, I used to stay awake, but then after my dad died, I used to go days without sleep. Like, I could go 2 straight days without sleeping, and I was still going to school.
And you were functioning.
Oh wow!
That's I mean,
so,
like, I'm a typical vampire, but that's it.
Yeah, no, it was a lot. It was a lot.
Okay, so let me take us back to what where we left off, where our train derailed. I found the carriage. I brought it back. Okay, so you know how there is this thing, and in my experience, I don't know, the experience might be different from other people, but in my experience, it's always been ladies who complain about this thing, where you're going through something and then you come and tell a guy, let's say you're in a relationship, right? And you come and tell your husband or your boyfriend or your fiance that, can you imagine, Stella was trying me in the office today, eh? Can you imagine that she went and reported me to Oga? This girl was just trying me. And then the man jumps in. So what do you want to do? Do you want to write a query? Do you want us to write a query? When the funny thing is, a lot of times, most of the times, when a woman comes to a man and says, this is what is bothering me, or this person is being a problem in my life, she's not looking to you to fix it. She just wants you to listen. But it seems like many guys don't get that. They just jump into that I want to fix it mode, and then they start wondering why the next time they ask a lady what's going on and she says nothing, I'm fine. You're like, her magic has started. So what should a guy do when a girl, or what should a girl do when a guy, because I know there are women like that. I have a friend who is like this, like once her husband is talking to her about stuff that happened because he just wants somebody to listen, she'll jump into fixer mode. I want to fix everything that is going on, you know, tell me what to do, or this is what you should do, what I think you should do. So what is the appropriate response to when someone comes to you and tells you, this is the kind of situation I find myself in, or this is what is happening to me right now, you know? What should be your appropriate response?
So usually, like I always tell my clients, it's very important to have clarity before you like go into a relationship, right?
Okay.
Clarity is important. Like, so have a discussion. What turns you off? What do you get angry about? What do you typically want to happen when you get upset? Do you understand? These are questions that, and that's also why I wrote like my book, The 100 Questions, because.
Oh yes, she has a book. She has a book. We will go back to that. She has a book. What's that title again?
100 questions to go on better dates.
100 questions to go on better dates. So at the end of this session, I will gift 2 people. I'll gift 2 people. I'll pick randomly, so nobody should beg me, because is as the spirit leads. I will pick randomly. The book is amazing. Like if you're planning to go on dates with anybody, if you're planning to survive the talking stage without dying of boredom, or without going out with a stalker or a psycho, you should get her book so that you don't go there.
If you are planning to not waste your time in a talking stage with a mad person,
don't go and start on your first date. You will go and date a mad person, or you people will go and start talking about your ex.
I don't recommend.
You need this book anyway. So yes. So let's go back to how you talk.
So clarity before like entering a relationship. Do you understand? Like what typically gets you upset? What do you want me to do when you're upset? What makes you feel better when you're upset?
So most, how you would put it is emotional intelligence, whether it's in a relationship with your father, mother, brother, sister, or anybody, is basically about asking questions to get to know the other person and not assume.
That's the thing. Like if you saw, like there's a post I put out recently, like people don't experience people anymore. Like in our generation, there's no experiencing anybody.
People don't experience
people anymore. Like there's the assumption that there's the assumption that if I like you, you like me, then
that's all.
But then it's
in
rubbish.
My younger days, oh my god, my people. In my younger days, I used to make that mistake,
Yeah.
I used to think because I'm feeling this bros and this bros is feeling me.
Yeah.
Or because, that thing that they say, is your best friend really are you your best friend's best friend, right? Yeah. So I would think that because I've met somebody, maybe I've met a girl, she's nice and everything, and we're vibing, that automatically makes us friends.
Yeah.
And sometimes you meet a guy, you think because you guys are vibing, that means you guys are on the same level. And then 2-3 weeks into this thing, you're like, are you mad? Do you understand? So emotional intelligence is basically you not just assuming. Assumption makes an ass out of you and me. So it's about asking questions to get to know, and not just asking questions, but also listening for what is not said.
Oh yeah, because that's the thing. I think that's another thing. That's another thing that I talked about on Twitter. It's like if you want to be a better communicator, start by listening.
Start by listening.
Have you guys people don't listen anymore?
Please repeat it. Let me repeat for them. If you want to be a better communicator,
start by listening.
Start by listening. Many of you people, your ear don't used to work. You start by opening your ear to hear what the person is saying. You hear me? It's how when a girl tells you, I can never stand for domestic violence. And then that girl disagrees with someone in a store where they go to shop, and then lashes out and hits the person.
Yeah.
You can't say, in that instance, you're watching, you're listening more to what the person is doing. You're reading between the lines, because you could literally ask that person, do you...
And this is all like emotional intelligence.
Yeah?
Being self-aware and being able to manage your emotions. Do you understand? So like typically I've talked about how like there's a difference between responding and reacting. Reacting, there's no thoughts given to reactions. Like so if somebody tells you, oh you're mad, you say you're mad. That's a reaction.
That's me on the road.
That's a reaction. But somebody tells you you're mad. Okay, why do you think so?
Excuse me.
That's a response.
Excuse
me.
And
the thing that Nigerians don't realize is that when you respond, right? People don't expect responses; they expect reactions.
Okay, but hold on. How am I supposed to respond? Let's say like I'm driving.
That's what, if you are driving on the road now.
Say, and that person tells me your father.
If you are driving on the road now, and somebody says, I think why this for me why it changed my perspective. There's something called cognitive reframing in emotional intelligence. It's basically changing your perspective.
Slow down, say it well. Cognitive.
There's something called cognitive reframing.
Okay.
It's basically changing your perspective, seeing stuff from a different perspective as to what you typically see them from. Do you understand? Okay. And for me, so there's somebody that I was driving one time, and there's somebody that the person, I think the person did rubbish, right? But then me, I'm like, why are you driving like this? What's your problem? Are you mad? And then when I finished saying, are you mad? The man said, okay.
Ouch. That can floor you.
Do you get? Because you're expecting a reaction,
right?
But he doesn't give you one. So where do you want to start from?
But if someone says your father, and you want to be emotionally intelligent,
you want to tell him your father.
You can say your daddy. It doesn't say soften. So, or I would say your progenitor, ancestors. The man who sired you.
Doesn't work.
The man who sired you.
Yeah.
You know, because you know how sometimes, okay, like recently, someone angered me. Because I think I've grown in my emotional intelligence. Hey, let me find myself.
Okay.
I have grown, because recently someone, well, I was having a disagreement with somebody, and the person was talking, and I was talking, and the person was talking, and I was talking. At the point I said, you know what? This person is not hearing me, and I'm not hearing them because I'm trying to get my points across, and the person wouldn't let me because they keep cutting me off. So I got up and I walked out of the room, and that's the first time I've ever like really done that. And I remember just standing there in the kitchen and thinking to myself, how? Oh my God, AKT.
Yeah, bro.
You're so much of a mature person. But when I did that, something occurred to me.
Yeah.
I realized that I didn't lose anything
Exactly.
by leaving. Because on a good day, I would go quiet and the person would keep talking. And then when they're done talking, I would say, can I say something now? Can I say my part? But this particular time I said, you're angry. You're going to be here. You're going to listen to this person. And if this person keeps talking, what will happen is that you will ignore them. And then you will never raise that subject again. And it will be a bias you hold, you know, against this person. So I just got up and walked away. I'm like, oh my God. Walking away is actually cool, because I walked away and then I got in there and I sort of like lost my anger. And then when I came back, I said, oh, I can have this conversation another time, right? So that is actually a technique. This one is not Selema that is teaching you, is me, you understand? That's a technique that you can use. Honestly, I'm telling you, because I'm the kind of person that when I get angry now, or you disagree with me, I want us to hash it out now. Because if we leave here now, I will forget about it. I'm not even joking. No malice, nothing. I will simply forget about it. If you bring it up again, I'm going like, see, it has passed, let's let it go. But I realized over time that it has passed, let's let it go. Sometimes, if the person does something else, it triggers that old memory.
Yeah, because you didn't deal with it.
So, because you didn't deal with it. Now, let's come to how do you deal with anger or jealousy or envy or frustration or bitterness. How do you deal with this thing in a relationship? Whether it's with our parents, because a lot of us, let's be honest, we have some serious trauma from growing up. Starting with parents who never listened, to the ones who never gave you a reason why they didn't want you to do that. I mean, I know that there are some times that you will get to tell a child because I said so, and that should be sufficient.
Yeah, like, I mean, that's
But most times, you realize that growing up, you would say, please, can I do this? No. Why? Be asking me a stupid question.
Yeah,
and
right.
that's that. And that thing kind of affects you later on. You realize that you honestly don't have the confidence to approach certain people, to either ask for something, because you're already expecting a shutdown. So in our everyday relationship with people, how do we get people to listen to us without losing our cool, or without brushing the issue aside, burying it and forgetting it, and thereby piling on stuff that comes out later?
Okay, so first of all, I'm going to finish answering the last question.
Okay, someone asked a question.
No, you asked the question.
Oh, okay.
So I'm going to finish answering the last question of no. I'm going to finish answering the last question of when you said, how do you deal with like a partner that doesn't want you to solve the problem,
Okay,
right?
okay.
And so that's what I said, before you enter the relationship, obviously clarity, you guys have to talk about like anger and all of that, right? And then in the situation when it happens, like sometimes when somebody finish like telling you something that has happened to them, or something that's happened to them, or something has gone on, when they are done, you're like, okay, I understand where you're coming from, right?
Yeah.
But then you also have to look at the person's perspective as well.
Okay. So it's not just about
you. It's not just about you, because in a conflict there are always two people.
Yeah, true.
Conflict doesn't happen with one person. There's always two people in conflict, right?
Okay.
What causes a conflict is the inability for both parties to agree, so they fight.
Yeah.
Right. So now the third party is the person that you tell. That's the person that can actually look at it from the outside perspective.
Okay.
And not have a bias, right?
Okay.
So if you're looking at it from an outside perspective, there's a reason why your wife is angry, your girlfriend is angry, and there's a reason why the other person is angry.
So basically, whenever you have a disagreement, you have to go into third person mode. So
yes. in resolving conflicts, there has to be a third person mode.
Oh, wow.
If you stay in your perspective and the person stays in theirs and nobody ever comes out, that's why you see like people in marriages that actually have fights that they never resolve. Because nobody is willing to actually be the one to step out and be like, okay, you know what, this is what's wrong, this is what's wrong. And one of the other things that people need to remember in conflict is how that it's you and your partner against the problem.
Aha,
Not you against your partner.
Jonathan. Awesome.
So in that situation where the person comes to you, okay, this is what happened, you tell them, okay, first of all, I get it, I understand you.
Please, you have to reiterate that.
Okay.
The you against.
Yeah, I'll come back to it. So so if somebody comes to you and tells you, okay, this is what is wrong, this is what annoyed me. Basically, okay, I understand where you're coming from, I understand why you're angry, right? But also look at their perspective. Maybe they were tired, maybe she's going through something, and maybe she didn't mean to speak to you like that.
Okay.
That's empathy kicking in.
Oh.
Do you understand?
Yeah.
So if empathy kicks in and you're able to calm down, and then the next question that should follow is, what do you want me to do?
Okay.
Do you want me to solve this? Or do you want me to just be here for you? And that's something that you have to ask. Do you understand? Because sometimes you want it to be solved. And then sometimes you don't want it to be solved.
Sometimes you actually don't even know what you want.
Do you understand?
Yeah.
So it has, and I keep saying this thing, I say this to a lot of clients. Your partner is like a witch.
What if?
Your partner, your friend, nobody is a witch. We're not practicing witchcraft here.
It will shock you.
So basically, the point is, if you don't speak up, people are not going to be in your head to know what you want.
Okay.
Right? And that's something that like communication is like a big thing. If you cannot communicate in any kind of relationship, you would struggle a lot. Like for example, a client I worked with last month that she had an issue voicing out her opinions, right?
Okay.
And it's like that thing you said, coming from like childhood trauma, and this is something that I always encourage. You have to actually dig deep. You have to look within, outline the things in your childhood that happened that you feel like were wrong
or diminished in some
yeah,
way.
because for her, because of her childhood, it became hard for her to confront people because she was always shut down.
Okay.
Do you understand? So she was always shut down, never giving a voice. So as she grows older, she finds it hard to actually tell people how she feels about a specific thing. So if somebody disrespects her, she literally just goes, okay, thank you, and walks away.
Oh, wow.
No matter how big the disrespect is. Like, I'm talking disrespect that maybe the person that, you're a bastard now, maybe for bringing wrong change.
Okay.
Like, that level.
So she
will say thank you. She will say thank you and walk away. Because she's too afraid to speak her mind. Because she's too afraid to speak her mind. So because of that, like, I had to teach her, like, you now have to go back to digging out the childhood trauma. What happened in your childhood? And then walking the person back from, tell me about yourself. Yeah. Tell me your story. Where are we coming from and how did we get here? Do you understand? If you can understand that, then you can. I always say this thing, how you cannot know a person's present if you don't understand their past.
Facts.
So people who show up and lie about, oh my God, I'm so like in my past, no, thank you very much. So yeah, so if you don't understand somebody's past, you can't understand their present and what the future will look like. Do you understand? Because the childhood trauma, right, that they don't solve, that they leave behind, now affects them into how they communicate, how they confront issues, and then if you marry them, that goes into your marriage.
Facts.
Do you understand? So how the person confronts issues now. If you're somebody who never wants to deal with confrontation, you will marry somebody who you'll be arguing about fuel price, and they will not respond. Or if arguing, why did you finish the chicken in the pot? They will not answer you.
Oh my God.
Or our joint account, you spend so they will not have the conversation.
Yeah.
And that's a problem.
Not just that, you know, wait, why are you the only one drinking? Please, people should beg her to top up my cup. Which water?
It's what I'm drinking. Okay.
Give me the
Leave it, you don't want water.
Say
what you're saying.
Are you emotionally?
Say what you're saying.
Is this emotional intelligence?
Yes,
this is emotional bullying.
No, it's not.
Please give me
Say what you're saying first.
Okay, so you have people in relationships who enter into relationships. Initially, it's all lovey-dovey, right? And then the person, like I had someone come to me. Oh, praise Jesus! I'm getting my Zobo refill. Oh, thank you.
I'm feeling that one. I'm not adding. Yeah.
Can I buy the bottle?
Yes, you can.
So you have, someone came to me and said, Eketi, I have a problem. My wife, okay, I think then they were engaged. My fiance has become my mirror. See, they said allow her to drink now. Allow her to drink. So he said my fiance has become my mirror. She never has anything contrary to say about anything I bring up. If I say, okay, should we spend money on this? Yes, I think we should. Should we do this? Yes. I don't want a yes person. I need someone that gives me honest and reliable feedback. And the funny thing is that his lady is smart as a whip. She actually disagrees with half of the things he says. But she is so, because he didn't understand her past. So now that the lovey-dovey stage has passed and they are ready to get married, he's now confused seeing this person that, it has suddenly hit him that this person never argues, never has anything contrary to say. And that is actually a relationship killer. Because forget people telling you, I want someone that is submissive, I want someone that will not give me wahala. People literally hate seeing their reflections in their partners. They don't want someone who is going to...
Not everybody.
Oh, not everybody shall, not everybody.
Very important to say that.
Okay. And then this other thing that I want us to go back to, which is a friend taught me that like maybe 2 years ago, I think. We're having this conflict and I lashed out at him and I'm like, I don't know, like... I have gotten to a place where if he says 1, I will say 5, right? And then that day, he just stopped me in my tracks and said, number 1, you're yelling at me. Number 2, I hope you know that every time we have a disagreement, is me and you against this thing that made us disagree, not me against you. I am not your enemy. And I think that people really need to know how important this is. This me and you against the problem. Because after I started applying that in my life, I realized that I had less conflict. Like, honestly, I wasn't even... In fact, I realized more often than not that how I perceived something to be was not how it was. It was just my perception. Oh, and I also learned not to quarrel on WhatsApp. Oh, God. I cannot... Do you know how many quarrels come out of WhatsApp? Because I misinterpreted tone. And like, I could actually think someone was angry. Meanwhile, the person was busy forming sex, yeah. I was really thinking the person is angry. So it helped me. So I would do this thing where he would say something and I would say, are you angry or are you joking? And you say, I'm joking. I'm like, oh, sorry, I didn't catch it. Now, I'd be like, too late, stop laughing, right? But it helped me have lesser conflict. So this is something that you really need to learn. When it comes to disagreements with your partner, is you and your partner against that issue, not you against your partner.
Even your disagreement with your friend, your parents.
Okay, yes, your friends,
colleagues,
your parents, anybody.
Anybody at all
Okay,
that you're like having like an interaction with.
So emotional intelligence is in building healthy relationships. You have to communicate. You have to listen to the other person. You also have a third person persona, where you're standing outside of yourself and you're being objective and seeing things from the other person's perspective, because it's not just about you. Okay. I hope people are writing this thing down. Nobody should come and ask me later, what did she say? What did she not say?
Take the course. You should just take the course.
Oh yes, she also has a course on emotional intelligence, on building healthy relationships. So if you want to build healthy relationships, if you're one of those people who constantly find yourself in a cycle where your best friend or your friends are betraying you. You know when people say that thing? Oh, I don't do friends with women. Women will betray you. And I'm just looking like, I have the best relationships with my female friends. Like, I'm not saying that none of them has betrayed me. A couple of them have literally buried the hatchet in my back before. But that's just a couple in the whole scheme of all these wonderful women that surround you. So if you're the kind of person who says, oh, I've been unlucky in friendship, there are women who say that, I've been unlucky in friendship, I don't have any female friend that I like, any female friend that was trustworthy, and you are the common denominator. If everybody is having an issue with you, if you're having an issue with everybody, you should start checking yourself, right? Maybe, just maybe, you are not applying emotionally intelligent principles to your friendship. And then there is this thing we do where we don't want to define our friendships. We just want to sail with our emotions. Oh, I'm vibing him, you don't want to define anything. So you find a lot of girls going into situationships with guys who haven't spelled out anything, right? And then they wake up one day and act all shocked that the guy has a fiance.
What are we?
And they're like, what are we? We are nothing but pencils. We are pencil. So just so that you avoid being a pencil in somebody's life, please, you know, they will say, ma, what if it's going to look somehow like I'm desperate?
And that's the thing that people need to understand is that be desperate.
Thank you.
Like, because people don't get it, but this is your life, right? I think that like I always tell my clients, treat your relationships like a business decision. When you're making business decisions, you don't excuse my French, but you don't F around.
You don't play around, yeah?
Like when you're making business decisions, you know that if you do anything that is nonsense, you're going to lose money, right? So treat your relationships like a business decision.
Be strategic.
Why do you want to be friends with this person?
Yep.
What does this person bring to the table? What do you bring to the table? Because you can't just actually be chasing out value in friendships or relationships and you don't have any value to offer.
Or bringing just fork and knife. What are we going to eat?
Do you get?
You understand?
It's like a guy who thinks that, oh, okay, at least if I make money, I will get woman, they will marry me. And then they now get the money and then they find out that the girls that they are meeting
are
asking them, hello, what else do you bring to the table?
Exactly. That's another thing, right? Oh my God, I could say a ton on that subject. So you see this thing where people say, guys say to their fellow guys, hustle, make babe no come, leave you go sugar daddy or something. And then these men spend their lives hustling to have money so that they can have the pick of women they want. Then same men turn around and start complaining about gold diggers.
The thing about men like this is that they don't focus on any other thing.
Yes.
They focus on getting money.
So that
they don't focus on building themselves intellectually, emotionally, spiritually.
Rich.
Like if you think that just financially is going to attract women that bring something to the table, it's a lie, because you be attracting women that just want to eat the money.
And women make the same mistakes. Looking for the man that has money. I'm not saying don't look for money. I am an advocate of go to where rich people are.
Don't suffer. I don't advocate
go to where the rich people are and fall in love. That is me. But you know, a lot of women just look out for, can he take care of me?
For example,
he's abusive, doesn't matter.
Yeah.
He's not kind, doesn't matter. He's not conscientious,
matter.
He's not generous,
doesn't matter.
Can he take care of me? And then they get into these relationships and they realize there is more to this life.
And that's why self-awareness is so important, because when you're self-aware and you know what you want, you know who you are, you know what it is you want for your life.
Exactly.
Right? There's like, I always say this thing to people, how like the fact that I've become who I am right now, it has reduced my choices by like 98%.
And that is such an awesome thing.
Basically, I'm only fighting for the 2% now, because I know what I'm bringing to the table.
I like that.
Do you understand? I know what I'm bringing to the table. I know who I am, right? So if you show up and you're bringing only money, it's like,
don't waste our time.
I can't really do this
understand?
Because this is not for me.
I understand.
So yeah, like, and that's the thing. And most men that don't like focus on these other parts of themselves don't understand. Like for example, like a few years ago, I had somebody, now why are you always saying no to me? I have money, I can take care of you. I'm like, I don't need to brag or be prideful, but I can buy my own soap.
Exactly.
I can take care of myself. It's not like I'm not working. It's not like I'm not making money myself. So the question now is that after this money, what are you bringing to the table? If I have a problem in my business, can I talk to you? Like, if I'm struggling spiritually, can I come to you and be like, how far? Let's pray. Maybe you teach me something inside the Bible.
Exactly.
You can't do it.
Exactly.
What are you doing for me? Don't be useless in my life. Please, no, I'm sorry guys, but don't show up and be useless to me. Do you understand? And I think that that's what most people don't understand, because I always get the question of, oh, why are you single to this point? Like, why are you still single? Why are you still... And the point is, I know what I'm looking for, right? I know what I'm offering. Do you understand? So if I'm coming with like, and people always ask the question, what is it that you're offering? Apart from, apart from being a woman that you can cook. Hello, sorry. In fact, I don't even plan to cook. Like the kind of life I want to have, I don't want to cook safe.
You understand?
The point is,
we need a chef.
If you are bringing like, adjust the camera, please. Let's
no, that's an old.
Okay.
So the comments are not scrolling up, so it's fine.
All right. So if you are bringing emotion, like, and that's the thing, people checking for just financial like well-being. You're not checking for emotional well-being. There are mad people in this. I keep saying
yes.
There are mad people in this.
If you someone said something the other time and people were laughing, it went viral, but it was funny. He said when you start making good money, the first thing you should do is to go and check your mind. And people were laughing and it was funny, but it's very important. You need to go and check, because some people here is not correct. That's why I honestly, so, like, someone posted on Facebook and said it was supposed to be funny but not funny.
Yeah.
Should the husband carry his plate to the kitchen?
Oh, I saw that thing on Twitter and I said no, you should leave it there.
My own is why
you should swallow it.
Why is it not eating the plate?
No, you should swallow the plate.
So now the funny thing is, it looks funny, it looks preposterous, but there are people like that. There is somebody who would finish eating. I had a guest who finished eating. This person has been in my house several times, so you're not a guest. He finished eating. I noticed that he would finish eating, go to the kitchen, wash his hands, or go use something or whatever,
and
leave the plates there. Hey, bros, what are you leaving this place for? The first time it happened, I'm like, okay, guest. Second and third, I'm like, hey, come and pack your plate.
I think one of the things in building healthy relationships, friendships, work relationships, romantic relationships, is what I said in the beginning. You have to establish first of all, there has to be clarity. Second of all, you have to establish your boundaries. For example, two of my biggest boundaries is, one, you cannot shout at me. Two, do not swear at me.
Same here.
Because I don't swear and I don't shout, you can't bring that energy. And if you do it, that's it, I'm done. And you have to stick to those boundaries. I put something out the other day. Don't make the red flags yellow flags, and don't renegotiate your non-negotiable.
Chop.
Don't renegotiate your non-negotiable.
Please, no, say that again. You have to just repeat that. Oh my God, just repeat that phrase. Don't make your red
flags your yellow ones.
And don't renegotiate
your non-negotiable.
Because the moment you settle for less than what you deserve, you will get less than what you settled for.
Exactly.
Please write it down.
Because the thing is,
God.
Once you say, okay, one of my swears at me, the first time the person does it and you don't check it, they'll do it the second time. Then they'll do the third. And the thing about people is that they test your boundaries.
Of course.
So they'll do it the first time to see, let me see what she will do. Then when you don't do anything, the second time they take it a little bit further. So it's like maybe they do it here. Next time they're doing, they'll do it here.
So handshake will pass elbow.
Exactly. So let's say they started from fingers. By the time that you are done, they'll be at your shoulder.
And the mind is a tricky thing, because once the mind starts rationalizing, you've lost it.
Oh yeah.
Once the mind starts rationalizing, this slap. So I had a friend whose partner slapped her, and that was the end. People called, begged her, told her to go back to the marriage.
Oh no, you don't.
She said, he slapped me. And you know how everybody kept telling her, it's just once he slapped you. Now that we've warned him, he's not going to slap you again.
Let's never go far. My mom's mom, right? My mother's mother. My grandfather the slap didn't touch her face. The hand was raised.
Oh wow.
She left the next morning.
Yeah, oh wow.
No, she left. She didn't she was done. She has gone. She did not go.
Someone raised his hands once, right? I tell this story often. Someone raised his hand once at me. We're just having this quiet disagreement, and then he goes like, And I remember just looking at his hand up, thinking, is the hand for me? And then I asked him, I said, I just said it quietly because it was still in the back of my head. It's not possible. Yeah. I'm like, why are you? What's that thing you're doing? And he said, Eketi, sometimes you just tempt someone to hit you. I say, bros. Thank God that your hand did not come down. Because if it came down, it's not now that I'm a believer. Then I was half of a Christian. I was still very vindictive. I'm not joking. I told him plain as day. I said, I will go to that barracks and I will pay soldiers. that will break your knees. So that when you sit down, anytime your children and your children's children will ask you, Mba, what happened to your legs? You say you used to date one at my bone, the other head is hot. Because I can't understand pinching, right? So like a boy hits me. This thing we are talking about boundaries. A boy hit me when I was 5 years old, right? And I cried all the way home. And my father asked me why I was crying, and I said, this boy hit me. And my dad said, does he have 2 heads and 4 hands? I said, no. He said, so he has what you have. I said, and he beat you and you did what? I said, I cried.
Your father beat you.
The man walloped me and sent me back to school to go and beat the boy. And he didn't just say beat him, he said beat him till they call me.
And tell me that you're beating
and tell me that you have beaten somebody's child.
Yeah.
And that was the last time I was, like, bullying was not a part of my system anymore. You talk one and be like, I have your power. I have your power. So these things are very important, you know, to listen to the other person, to also listen to yourself. You need to know yourself, because this is what makes a lot of people think that for women, that they are desperate when they get to their 30s. And they want to settle for relationships that don't make any sense because someone has told them that time is going.
Can somebody told me the other day that, Selema, boy, you're hitting your late 20s. Oh, what's going on now? Sure, there are not guys that are coming. I said, let me let you go. Like, you have to. That's the thing about being like. The thing about being like this.
20s far. We are not even late now. Wow.
Check out now. I'm gonna check. I'm not like I have to calculate my bed.
Do you understand? Because you'll be like, who won?
What's going on? Like, hello.
Please, me that if like this year I celebrated the 12th anniversary of my 22nd birthday. And do you understand? So that means I'm very young.
And then
you understand?
This is me. I'm looking at you like, what?
Late 20s.
Do you understand me?
Oh God.
I don't know. I finish. I think what you people don't understand yet is that it's not a do or die affair for me.
Thank you.
Like, you have to get to the point in your head where if it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen. If it happens, it happens.
And the world won't end.
Once you get to this mindset, I promise you that anybody that comes that doesn't have sense, you will not even, like, you won't entertain the idea. And
this goes for both men and women.
Oh no, it goes for both.
It goes both.
I told somebody the other day that it's not about the age you marry.
It's
not about the time. It's about marrying well.
Imagine getting to 40, right? And then people pressure you to accept certain friends who are doing you harm, and to stick around with a man or a woman who is not good for your mental health simply because time is going. How are you, that phrase, a fool at 40, because I see it like that, like, how can you get to this age and then decide to sabotage yourself for the rest of your life because of what someone else thinks? For me, when people say stuff like, aren't you bothered? I honestly tell them, I am not. See, it's not because I don't want man, no.
I think that's the
mistake.
That's the mistake. It's not because
I want the man.
It's not because you don't want a partner.
It's not because I don't want a partner.
It's because you know
but because I know what I want.
I would rather stay single.
Thank you.
Than have somebody who every day that I wake up, right, I'm constantly wondering why I'm inside that relationship.
It is better to look at somebody, a partner, and say, that's the father. That's my sweetheart, that's my husband, or that's my wife.
Like, see,
than to say that's the father of my children, the one with the big nose.
I'll tell somebody, the kind of partner I want then. I want to wake up every morning, I'm like, God.
Now we do this.
Oh, God, oh, you didn't mess up.
I go market. You understand?
I want to actually be glad.
Not the one that
we live in.
When you're with people and they ask you, where is your husband? You say, that one.
Do you get
that one? Because like, your heart is not happy. Or you say he didn't come. Meanwhile, he's standing beside you, like Trump said that what's her name? Ivanka was not around. Meanwhile, so these things are important when you know what you want in any relationship. And then, there's something I also wanted to touch on. You know, like you said, asking questions is important because a lot of times we assume we know, not just based on our relationships, but on other people's relationships. Like, or other people's experiences. Like the other day when I said to someone, I said, are you really angry about a situation, or is somebody hotspotting you? It was funny, yes, but then You know how people say, our African parents, our Nigerian parents, they don't do this. Our Nigerian parents, they don't do that. Our Nigerian parents, they don't do that. I said, be careful. A girl came to me and told me how I invited her for an event, and she said she couldn't come because her father wouldn't let her, her parents wouldn't let her. She's a, pastor's daughter, every, her life is very triangular, like mine used to be. Yeah. Church, school, home. Church, school, home. And then I told her, have you ever had a conversation with your parents about hanging out? And she said, Auntie, I'm telling you, they won't listen. I said, no, that's not what I asked you. I said, have you ever had a conversation with your parents where you talk to them? He said, Ma, you don't understand. My parents are hard. I said, you don't get anybody where parents don't hard. But if you look at your parents from their perspective, are they saying this thing because do you think they are telling you not to hang out because they hate you? Or because they don't want you to get into trouble? Which is it? And she said, because they don't want me to get into trouble. I said, fine. So you know what you're going to do? I gave her an assignment. I said, which of your parents listens more? And she said, her father. I said, good. You're going to go to your father and you're going to have a conversation with him. You're going to tell him, I am 26 years old. At my age, what were the things that you did? And I'm sure that your father is going to tell you about these huge achievements. I had a car, I had a house, I was getting married, blah, blah, blah. Good. When he's done, tell him, I'm 26 years old. What have I achieved? Mm-hmm. Your father is going to listen. Because he will, if anybody who is intelligent will pause and say,
they might not show it.
They might not show it, but they will pause and think to themselves, okay. And then you tell him, you realize that I have literally done none of those things. And I'm not saying that you don't love me. But because you keep making me not do these things, don't take this opportunity, you need to give me space. So when she had this conversation with her father listened. And then the next day, he said to her, he didn't talk or he didn't say anything, he just said, I've heard. You know how our parents are now. He said, I've heard. And that was it. And she went, she called me, she was sad. I said, let it play out. It's a seed that is sown. Give it time. Let it grow. And then the next day, her father called her and said, that program you said you were going for, what time? When will you come? I had to, the father now called me. I had to call the father and say, sir, my name is Eketi. I am the one who is inviting your daughter. And I promise you that not only will the event finish by 10 p.m., but that I will deliver her to your house on time. And that's what happened. And after then, it was really easy for her to go out to events. So sometimes, you know how we assume that our parents will not listen. But you just need to break that ice. Some of us, our parents would never say, I love you. They would never say it. But we started saying it. I love you. I said I love you. I love you. You say I love you, they'll say thank God. You. I'm like, thank you. I'll be like, I love you. Say Jesus loves you more. But after a while, you just realize that you go to your parents and you just say I love you. Oh yeah, I say I love you too. And I say I love you too. You go. It's gradual, but many of us never attempt those conversations. We just sit down and assume that these people don't like you. This is not to say that there are no parents that are hard, that you can never, there are parents like that. So, you need to, this is going to the third person thing, you need to see from the other person's perspective.
Like there's something my mom said, like we had like a fight, I think it's 2 years ago. What year are we in? 20? Okay, so it's 3 years ago. So 3 years ago, me and my mom were going through it because at that point, like, I just needed
okay, yeah.
And there was something she said, like, when we had the fight, and I'd written her, I wrote her like a long letter. Like, the letter was long. Yes, letter was long. And it was strong worded. Very worded.
Very worded, but not in the word.
My mom had called me and sat me down, and like she was talking to me, and then she started crying, and then something she said that, and she went, nobody ever taught us how. And then from that day, like my perspective changed, and every time like I have a client, like I always teach them that when it's like them coming from a point of, oh, I want to fix like the relationship with my parents, and I'm like, you have to be able to extend grace to and them. Extend empathy to them, because the reality is that the Nigerian parents of old, nobody ever taught them to be parents.
They learned on
the job. They literally just give birth to children and say, take, just raise them.
True.
So,
and even many parents today are also, because honestly, no matter how many books you read, there are many parts of parenting that you have to learn on the job.
And that's also the thing about our generation. Like I was telling somebody else, we have the opportunity to do better.
Exactly.
The information is out there. There's the opportunity to do better, right? So if you don't do that, then you will give birth to yourself, but worse.
Ouch.
It's the truth. Like all the issues that you grew up with, your child will have them, but in higher degrees.
True.
Do you understand?
It's actually still happening.
It's still happening because you're coming from a place of like all the trauma that you have gone through. Then add the experiences of your life on top of the trauma that you do not solve. Then pour it on another child.
True.
The person will be worse than you were.
True.
Do you understand? So it's very important. Like when it comes to Nigerian parents, like this clarity thing before you even get into romantic is very important for you to have it in your house, because it took a while for me and my mom to be like, but there has to be some common ground, because if there's no common ground, then is that.
And this is also applicable for when we talk about emotional intelligence, a lot of times people just think more of like relationships, romantic relationships, and less about family and friends. It's very important in our friendships. Some people want a friendship that everything is smooth. Nobody rocks the boat. That's impossible. If you're in a friendship where someone said to me, oh, me and my friend, we've never quarreled, we've never had a disagreement. I'm like, somebody's not saying how they feel. Somebody is not saying what they feel when they feel it. Because there is no relationship that does not have conflict at some point. So even in your friendship, you need to apply these principles. Like listening, not taking the person for granted. Also, because it's easy to take your friends for granted. Honestly, it's unconscious. You're used to this person, so you don't do anyhow.
Like so I'm writing a volume 2 of my book. And in
how do we stop this dog from barking? It's really disturbing. Can we close the window?
Let me see. Are people complaining?
Yeah. Sorry, let's just close the window. See if we can hear the dog. Okay. Just that the heat will kill us, but we'll be fine.
Yeah, we'll be fine.
Okay, so yeah, continue.
Okay, right. So I'm writing a volume 2 of my book, and it's titled 100 Questions Before You Say I Do, and Navigating Friendships. So basically, navigating friendships, and the reason why it's in the book is because if you notice, most people when they talk about relationships, they don't actually like talk about friendships. Friendships are kind of like discarded. It's like, you're my guy, you're right. But then at the end of the day, like it's not. And the reason why I added that part in is because I've the friendships in my life now that matter have gone through like a lot of
metamorphosis,
friction as well, right? And if both parties were not able to come to like a point where like we're emotionally intelligent enough to have conversations, to be clear, to put everything on like the table and talk about it, then I'm pretty sure that like 3 of my friendships are like some of the best ones I have right now. They'll probably not exist.
Okay.
So for example, so people don't like to talk about it, but friendship breakup is a real thing. Right.
Oh yes.
And it hurts deeper than romantic partners, if we're being honest.
Does it?
Yeah, it does.
You sure?
Yeah. I'm sure. Especially I've been friends with somebody for a long time. Hello. Well. With somebody now started dating 1 year ago. Excuse me, I'll be going. Anyways.
No, heartbreak won't be.
So when it comes to like friendship breakups, like they are real, and one of the things that people don't do is that they don't communicate. And I always tell people that like I teach that the kind of friend you are, it's the kind of partner you will be. There's no rocket science behind it. True. You are not a different partner because, oh my God, like, wow, I'm so incredible at relationships. You are really not incredible at relationships. Your friendships are suffering, right? If you're in friendships where you guys don't talk about when you guys are hurt, you guys argue a lot, every time that you're angry, you're shouting and cursing at each other, you will do the exact same thing to the person you're with.
Like, so let me interrupt you. Okay, so please, if you have any questions, because we are going to round up soon, if you have any questions, please just drop it in the comment section. If you have any questions about this session that we've had so far, please just drop your questions and we'll take it quickly so that we can round up. So please, sorry to cut you off. Carry on.
So yeah, the person that you are in a friendship, a platonic friendship, the person that you are as a single person is who you'll be in a relationship.
Facts.
The person doesn't change.
Facts.
The person that you are in a single friendship, how you handle your friendships is who you're going to be at work. that person does not change. You can be in a more professional mood, but your basic characteristics of how you handle stuff with people that you're friends with is how you're going to handle stuff with people that you're colleagues with. For example, like my client I said that had a problem with confrontation and didn't ever confront people. It used to happen in our friendships all the time.
Yeah.
And then something happened to her at work, and some girl had done something, and her colleague had spoken to her anyhow, like disrespected her and all of that, and she was angry, but she did not say anything. She came home, texted me in the night when it was time for her class, and vented. And I'm like, this is over 3 hours ago, and you're still this upset. And then I had to ask her, is this what typically happens? And she said yes. And I'm like, so today we're going to learn how to not let this happen.
Yeah.
And then we're already going into the topic of self-management. I was supposed to teach self-management for the whole week. So her assignment at the end of the week for that Friday was you're going to confront your colleague. And you're going to sit down and you're going to have a conversation. And you're going to listen. And she's going to tell you what she feels as well.
Yeah.
So at the end of the week, I told her she didn't do her assignment and I'm not going to teach, so she does it. So at the end of the week, she had gone to work, did the assignment.
That was very hard.
Yeah. She did the work.
I can imagine.
Came back, and that's the thing. The thing about being an emotional intelligence coach is that you have to remember that you can't solve your clients' problems.
Of course.
So you have to teach them how to be effective when you're not there.
Yeah.
Right? So she had gone to work. She came back in the evening. And she's like, I said, did you do my assignment? She said, yeah. So I'm like, okay. So what happened? And then she goes. So I walked up to her and I told her, please, can we talk about something? She said, yeah. She said, so what it is you did to me, like, is it on Monday or Tuesday? This is how I felt. This is how it came across to me.
Yeah.
These are the emotions that I have gone through in that time frame. And this is how I feel like you were communicating your message. And she said her colleague was staring at her like in disbelief for a few minutes, and her colleague goes, wow. I didn't mean it the way that you saw it. 1, 2, I didn't even know that you were angry. She's like, you never say anything.
You see?
She's like, so because of that, I don't even know if you're upset. Then she communicates, and because I told her to listen when the girl communicates, the girl now communicates like what she did, and I told her that if she apologizes and she tells you, I'm sorry if, that's an apology.
Oh.
I'm sorry that's an apology. An apology is, I am sorry I offended you. It's not, I'm sorry if I offended you. I'm sorry that you feel offended. It's not an apology.
Are you serious right now?
I'm sorry that you feel offended. I'm sorry if I offended you. They are both condescending. It does not see you accepting the hurt. It doesn't see you taking like responsibility for what you've done. It sees you putting the person in the position of what I said, is not really offensive, but if you got offended, then sorry you might as well say like that. An apology is, I'm sorry that I hurt you. That's an apology. It means that you've taken responsibility for what you've done. You've acknowledged your hurt, right? So I told her that if the apology was in any other way, apart from I'm sorry that you're hurt, then that's not how I'm apologizing. And that's something that she was quick to note, because when the girl said an apology, she said, I don't think that that's an apology. Nice. That's the thing about setting boundaries.
Yes.
It's because when somebody disrespects the boundary, correct it in that moment, because if you don't, it never stops. But the fact that she was able to point that out, now if she has a disagreement with the girl and the girl apologizes, she won't say, I'm sorry that. I'm sorry. She won't say, I'm sorry if. She'll say, I'm sorry that I hurt you. Do you understand? So she acknowledges her feelings. She takes responsibility for it. And then she tells her, okay, this is how I feel. And then they sorted out the whole thing. And I'm like, wow. Rocket science. So
you come and teach me. But my class will be free. Okay, so we have a question from Nice Girl Eunice. She said, my question is this. How do you leave a room to avoid a heated argument without the other person feeling insulted? Also, what if it's over the phone and you need to disconnect? How will it be done without seeming rude?
So like I said, in emotional intelligence, there's something called the pause button.
Pause button.
Yeah, pause. And I'm going to give you 2 examples. So when you're having a heated argument, I remember so there's somebody that I sometimes like to call my boss, and I remember one time we had like an argument, like it was something bad, and he said something that really pissed me off. Like I was upset, and that's the thing. Like also something else I want to state is there's something also called emotional rules.
Okay. And
emotional rules is you have to have rules for your emotions. So what can this person do that causes you to get angry? in general, like what can somebody do that causes you to get angry, right? When you state what that thing is, reduce it to the minimal possible thing. Like, for example, if this person remove this shoe from here, the way I'll vex, I'll slap the person. That's what they can do to cause you to get angry, right?
Okay.
Now that you know that, okay, fine, this is what they can do to cause you to get angry. Extend what causes you to get angry.
Oh, wow.
Do you understand?
Okay,
so that means if you remove this shoe from here, I'm not going to be upset. If you break my phone, I will beat you. Extend it. The reason why you do that is because it forces you into a place where, for me now, I don't remember the last time I got angry. Like, I don't remember the last time I actually went off on somebody. Like, oh my god, it takes a while. The reason why is because my emotional rule for anger is very high. Like, and then coming from the kind of person I used to have temper issues. Okay. Like, I used to be the kind of person that you can, I will go, I will process harming you in my head. Like, when you, the worst possible things I can do to you,
oh God,
it will already go in picture flashes from, like, I've seen all of it. I can see how I can put you under a sock away and close it. That's how bad it is. Because of that, extending my emotional is very high now that, like, you can do things that would a year or 2 years ago upset me, and literally when you finish I'll be like this. Okay, sure, all right, cool.
So this pause button thing, do you have a pre-agreement with this person?
No, the pause button is
just
you.
Say, oh, the pause button is you.
So yeah, I'm coming to that. So after explaining emotional rules, the pause button now, to answer her question, is there has to be a mental pause button. And this is something like I most of the time teaching most of my classes. The mental pause button for me, I'm going to use myself as an example. Mental pause button for me is breathe.
Breathe.
So anytime that somebody is saying something that is supposed to aggravate me or irritate me, in my head I'm going, just breathe, Selema, just breathe. And then start counting down from 100.
Oh, wow.
If you can count from 100 in your head while somebody is pissing you off, I guarantee that when you get to 1, you're probably not even upset anymore. If you still are, start from 200. I'm not even joking. I promise. It's hard when you first start, but then if you that's the thing about, you have to consciously practice it and learn how to manage your emotions.
Okay, but what if you say to the person, excuse me, I'm really angry right now?
No, you can do that, but then it depends on who the person is. Do you understand? It's not everybody that you can say, look, I'm really upset right now, so I need to leave. It's not everybody you can do that with. If it's like somebody who is like, let's say, CEO of a company you work for, you can't say that. True. Do you get? True. So that's why you have to practice both things. If it's a friend, for me, for example, now when I'm dating somebody, right? And I mean, last time I was like seeing anybody at all. I mean, we're having an argument and the person was talking on the phone and like he was upsetting me. Like I was starting to get upset. And he was talking and talking and talking and talking and talking. And in my head I've already gone, just breathe, fam, just breathe. And I'm there. And then there's also something I do apart from breathe, I pray.
Okay.
If you can say a prayer in your head in anger, by the time you're done, you're not as angry. And it depends on how you say it. It depends on how you say it. It depends on how you say prayer. There's the God
kill him.
That's like, it depends on how you say the prayer. You have to learn. You have to learn who you are, and you have to learn how to manage who you are.
Okay.
First with yourself before you do with people.
Okay,
so as I was saying, for
this person, breathe.
Yeah. So as I was saying, while I was on the phone, while he was talking, like by the time I got to 100, I mean I was not upset anymore. Yeah. But while he was talking, I'm like, I'm going to have to call you back, and he's like, oh no, let's talk now. I'm like, no, for real. I'm going to have to call you back.
Okay.
And he said okay, and I called the call. And then I stayed and just sat down for like 20 minutes. Just calm down, just breathing. And then when I was calm, I called him and I said, this is why I called the call. This is what upsets me. This is what you said. This is how you said it. And this is why I'm angry. And this is how I feel. Now, when you're done doing that, now give him the opportunity to express why he said what he said and what he meant and how he feels about what you did. Do you understand? That's how you resolve conflict. That's the me and you versus the problem. Yeah. Because if I'd come back on the call and gone, you're actually very stupid, I don't understand why, that's me against him. And that's me tearing down. And that's the thing about conflict. Once you go into the mood of it's me against you and you tear the person's character down,
you've already created
animosity. There's already animosity. So in your head, now anytime person does something, hey, you're always an idiot before now, so I'm not sure.
You don't have sense. Is it today? That's how the last time you get like oh Lord, I heard that. I hate when people do that. Like,
People, yeah,
that's how the last time you
and once that's the thing,
and that comes out of when you don't talk about this issue.
Oh yeah, like, and that's the thing that most people go into marriages like this, and that's part of what causes their biggest problems. Because by the time that I tell you I'm sorry, I'm genuinely sorry for something, and the thing happened 6 months ago. We never had a fight
and you
today.
bring it back.
Then you don't tell me that's happened.
It kills
the other
me.
day.
The other time, I hate that. Like if someone says sorry and you've accepted the apology, for me that's that.
And that's the thing about
whenever we're having another disagreement, it's on fresh ground.
That's the thing about apologizing. Like, and if you don't accept the apology, state it. Like when somebody tells you, I'm sorry. Like literally, what I do is like, if you tell me I'm sorry, I'll tell you I don't accept your apology.
I had a friend whom I used to have issues with, and then when I say I'm sorry, he would say, I'm not ready to accept your apology. That thing used to kill me. Like, are you mad?
It's important
because the truth was the measure of my repentance showed in how I responded.
Yeah.
Initially, when he says, I'm not ready to accept your apology, I'll be like, eh? Because I managed to beg you.
Exactly.
You're mad.
So you know that the person is not really sorry.
Do you know? And then he would just give me this look like, I knew you were not really sorry. You're just saying it just because. And then later, after a while, I now learned to, if he says, and I'll say, okay, just let me know when you're ready. You know, it killed me, but I learned that it wasn't about me. Okay. All right. So does any other person?
So wait, what's the second question she asked? What's the second part of her question?
Okay, the second part of the question was, how do you, if the disagreement is on the phone, how do you disconnect without it seeming rude?
So yeah,
off the phone, off it.
Don't listen to her.
Say it's battery.
The thing is, another rule that I have is, I don't hang up on people, and I don't want people to hang up on me.
I get has left the chat.
And the reason why I established that rule is because it holds me accountable in my anger. Do you understand? Most of the time, people think the rules you establish are for other people, but it's for you. Do you understand? I know that in my anger, you can be saying, "Well, I just want the phone," but the fact that I've established it's like a cardinal rule. No matter what it is you are saying, I will never hang up on you. And I always let people know that because this is understood, they know that I'm not going to cut the call. So if I tell you, and I always say that.
But can you give a heads up? Because I usually give a heads up, like, you're getting me angry, I'm about to hang up.
No, I don't know. So basically, at the beginning of the relationship, like I said, establishing boundaries and be clear, right?
What am I supposed to do?
I should
tell them that if I say
no, I always say it at the beginning. I will not hang up on you.
Okay.
Right? That's something I will never do, no matter what it is you are saying. Okay. But if I am angry, I will tell you that I need to cut the call.
Okay.
Do you understand?
Or you can say, what if you say hello? Hello? This network is not good.
Yeah, we know you're lying.
This network is not good.
And that's the thing about this is that there's something in emotional intelligence called personal integrity and personal responsibility.
Why are you making me feel bad?
I'm not making you feel bad.
You know that there was somebody,
honest.
I'm not joking, I'm sorry, but there was somebody that I used to, whenever this person calls, I have a sweet wrapper. So, once the person starts missing, I'll just do shoo. I'll be like, this network. God, I'm sorry. Oh. So you're saying I should not use sweet wrapper again?
See, that's the thing. The reason why I brought that up is the personal integrity thing. Like for me, integrity is a big thing for me because it's one of my own rules is I don't lie. If I have to lie, I would rather not speak.
Me too. I hate lies. So
if and the reason why I established that is because I don't lie to me. Do you understand? Yeah. So if you're saying rubbish, what you're saying right now, I can't do it now. So I'm going to have to call you back.
Okay.
And another thing of like how, let's say maybe you're not in the mood and somebody wants to call you. And I'm calling you now, like always, and I'm always very clear. I'm not taking phone calls right now. You can send me a voice note.
And you know that thing tends to offend people.
Be offended.
Honestly.
You can send me a voice note, you can text me, but please don't call me.
We're chatting on WhatsApp. I said yes. It doesn't mean I want to take a call.
But
I don't want to talk.
Please don't call me.
Do you understand? And people just get offended, like, what do you mean? Your phone is in your hand.
And that's another thing that, and I think that because of all of these things, right, being able to establish it and be confident in all of that, I think that because of all of these things, like, people tend to see me as intimidating.
Oh yes, you are.
I don't know why.
She's intimidating.
I'm really not.
She really
I'm
is.
really not.
I don't lie. She
I'm
is.
really not.
I'm telling
People,
you. Do you know that, like, the first few times I met you,
Yeah.
the first couple of, I was like, oh wow,
really?
This one, you know.
I think that what I've come to learn is when you are present in who you are, like when you are very present.
Yeah, it can come across
as intimidating, but then
True.
you don't mean to come
Very
across like
true.
that. You don't
Very
even know
true.
that's what you are
True,
doing.
because some people, you know, like after maybe we talk and we communicate, they say stuff like, Hekete, I thought you were this.
People always say that to me, like,
I'm like,
where
do you get that impression?
Someone was talking to me like on Twitter and like it was like, and then the guy in the middle of it, he goes, wow, somebody
So
are funny, yo.
and I'm like, you know, they're like, I know you're funny, but you have this, like you're a snob, like you're very, someone said, like you're a strict disciplinarian. I'm like, who am I even disciplining?
So yeah, like that's the thing about like her question is there has to be boundaries established before like you even get to the point where you're fighting with anybody, right? So they know what you're going to do. And if it's something that you cannot walk away, practice the pause button.
Okay.
Right? Practice it in your head. Count. Whatever it is. Sometimes there are people who their pause button in their head is like stop. Just stop. Right?
Okay.
So if you can like establish the stop in your head, then you know when to stop
like
something.
Stop getting angry.
Yeah.
Okay.
So the situation with my boss was like, so when he had said what he had said, I'd gone to the door and I was going to walk out, right? And then I dropped my bag, I walked away, and I came back. And I sat down and told him, I'm like, if I leave here, right, I'm going to be very upset. And then we're probably not going to talk. Okay. And it's just going to be messy. I'm like, so let's have a conversation. I'm like, this is what you did. And if what I did at the time upset you, you could have said it to me instead of being vindictive. Yeah. Do you understand? Because you don't turn around and then do something to hurt me so that I can hurt the way you were hurting. It's wrong. Do you understand? And then when I had said that, that's when we now sat down and had the conversation. And by the time we're done talking, I'm like, so I forgive you, but it doesn't mean that I'm not upset right now. Yeah. Right. And I just don't want
it's okay to forgive people and still not be back into that happy place that
it's not okay. Some people think that they have to switch immediately.
Thank you. Like once they say I'm sorry, you're supposed to get back in this place where you're all laughing and giggling.
Yeah, but I'm not fine at that point.
I don't want to giggle with
so when I'd finished, like I'd gotten up and I'd gone home. And later that night, like 11 p.m, he sent me a text message and God, I'm sorry that I upset you today, and I don't want to be the reason why you're in this place. So
that's somebody that has sense.
Yeah, so and I didn't think that would happen. But if I had walked away, that text message would never have come. Yeah. Sometimes you have to realize that you are going to have to be the bigger person in a situation. Yes. Do you understand?
You know, that is very important, especially in this our current day of cancel culture. Yeah. Where people are very impatient. It's all about you. There is very little emphasis on you, on the other person. You seeing from the other person's perspective, you extending grace.
And that's what empathy
like,
is.
You deserve more, you should grab more. It's always about me.
That's what empathy is.
Empathy will always be about the other person. And Jesus literally talks about it. He said the other person first.
Emotional intelligence.
Then you. True. Jesus said it. The other person, he said when you put the person first, love your neighbor as yourself, loving someone as God. It's always actually about the other person.
And there's something I always also say, how that niceness and kindness are not the same thing. Niceness is influenced by environment. Kindness is influenced by who you are.
It's inside.
Do you understand? So niceness is okay.
Someone can be nice, but it's because they want something from you.
That's why the person is kind.
Because somebody can tell me, anytime you talk about the kind of partner that you want, life partner that you want, you always say the person has to be kind. I said yes.
Because a kind person steps out of themselves. A kind person will step out of themselves to inconvenience themselves to please you. And you want a kind partner, a kind friend, because when you guys have an argument, when there's a problem, you want somebody who can come out of them and humble themselves enough to see you, no matter what happens.
Thank you.
And if you focus on niceness, a nice person, I know the one I know me. When you're ready, me.
You know me, I don't take nonsense. When you're ready, because me as I'm here now, I cannot even condemn anybody.
And another thing to look out for, like when you're building healthy relationships, is you have to focus on how does the person treat other people that aren't you.
Very important.
Like people that they don't have like relationships with, people that they're not friends with, people that they don't talk to.
Very
how
important.
do they treat people that are not you?
Very important.
Because how they treat somebody who isn't you that you don't have a relationship with is important, because one day you are going to be the stranger, and how are they going to treat you? That's a very important thing, because
That's it.
it's a very important
thing.
It's a very important, like,
do you know how many people my people have a saying that they say, you know that thing they say that the broom they used to sweep the first wife is the broom they used to sweep. See, someone I put up a comment, right, about what made you not go on a second date with somebody, and I can never forget that comment. One of the comments on that post, a lady said that she went to a restaurant with a guy on a first date, right? And this guy yells at the wait staff, "Hey, you bring this one, you do this, you do that." And then he complained that the waitress did not give him a clean spoon. The girl goes in to bring the spoon, and dude sits down, then gets up, goes into the kitchen in the restaurant, slaps the waitress.
Mado.
Hey God. Slaps the waitress, picks up a spoon, comes out and sits down and eats like nothing had happened. Do you know what it takes? What kind of human being walks into a restaurant kitchen to slap a wait staff for not giving him a spoon that was clean enough for his taste?
One day
That she just do you understand? That she just waited. When he was done, she japa. And the same thing has happened to me.
And that's why, like, I always tell people that when you're going like on a first date with somebody, a romantic partner, a friend, don't do movies. Like that's why movies for me, like, they're not first date material.
Selema,
they're like second or third. I'm just saying they're like second or third dates.
So first date I will now go.
No, let me tell you why movies don't really show anything. When you go to like a movie theater, you pay for the tickets, you buy the popcorn, right? People are mostly nice at that point, because all they have to do is print out the tickets.
Can I tell
give you the popcorn? Wait, let me finish. Then I said mostly. Some people will show themselves there. Mad people, people that are like really mad. But
like answering call. When you're making
those people, no, that one is different. But the reason why I say cinemas don't really expose much is because when you pick a restaurant, there is more human interaction. There is the waiter. There is him coming to drop the menu. There's waiter coming back to ask you, do you want drinks? There's waiter bringing your food. There's waiter bringing.
I have to pack her sense and put on my head. Hey!
There's waiter bringing the bill. There's waiter coming back to ask you, oh, did you enjoy the meal? There's waiter coming to pack the plates. There is more human interaction in that time with somebody that he does not know, somebody that he doesn't care for. Now, if this applies to both men and women,
of course,
if the person cannot have sense,
can never have
in that space,
we will not have the
sense will never come. It's not rocket science.
True.
Like if somebody, and I always tell like women and girls, like when you're going out with a guy, forget how he treats you. If he's opening door, if he's telling you look so beautiful,
they will open door and slap you.
That's not. They open door, they will still slap you. Leave this thing.
The one that was doing gentleman for her, but then he fought the bus conductor over 30 naira.
Ah, 30 naira.
Beat the guy too. The guy was bleeding.
30 naira.
She said she refused to come down from the bus because she don't want people to know. She didn't want people to know that they went
she's
together.
him now. 30 naira. Please now.
Thank God.
Like the way that he would treat everybody, like in that whole space.
If he's the kind of person that is always yelling at people
or
treats people in a condescending manner. You know how someone said somebody on a date, this guy throws, was it biscuits, cookies or something, just threw a wrapper on the floor. I'm like, why do you do that? There's somebody here too. They have sweepers. That thing irritated me, stuffing out.
See, let me tell you something.
Gosh!
I'm the one that even made that. I'm the one that treated on the floor, and he's like, so I'm not going to pick it.
Yes!
The respect I had for that man.
Do you understand?
As in,
honestly,
it's so
litters the environment.
He stopped the car for me to pick the.
You should come and chop.
Even my elder brother.
Bros, wherever you are chopping.
My elder brother, you would throw something for my elder brother. There was something my brother. Somebody a barbarian. I'm like, Jesus.
Yeah. That one enter.
It's hot in the chest. I'm like, it's not this deep. He's like, no. He's like, ask you a question. I'm not fighting. Ask you a question.
So on your first date, right? It's better to go to a restaurant or hang out in a place where you have more interaction with the person.
With servers.
Movies are not ideal because they don't let you have a lot of human interaction. Okay, so we're going to wrap up this class.
Yeah, I'm not question.
Does any other person have a question?
Isn't that a question I just want?
No, it's not. It's an old. The person said she doesn't even want to be in the same space with someone.
Oh. Okay.
As in when someone apologizes and wants you to be all giggly. So anyway, in light of the fact that there are no other questions, we're going to round up and we'll just summarize what we've said, which is number 1, listen to the person. Communication, for those of you that write IELTS, you go to write IELTS so that you will run and leave us and go to Canada, right? It's about speaking, writing, and listening. And that is basically what communication is. You have to listen to the person. You have to watch the person. You also have to speak to the person.
There's something I want to add to this. For communication to be effective, it has to be heard and understood.
You see that heard and understood?
For communication, let me say again, for communication to be effective, it has to be heard and it has to be understood. If the person that you're communicating with does not hear you and does not understand you, it's not communicating.
Because there's a difference between hearing and understanding, right? Yeah. So people will say, hey, I've heard. You've heard, but have you listened?
Have you understood me?
Have you understood me? So because some people actually don't listen, but they hear you.
They hear you, yeah.
You know that, right?
That's why people are
some people don't listen. That the thing has entered and passed on, right? But they're actually not listening to you. But they've heard you. Okay. So no more questions. Thank you so much to
you. Say I didn't wrap up. Do wrap up.
Oh, wrap up.
Thank you so much. Basically, we're saying listen, right? So listen, hear, and understand. That's how you communicate, right? So building healthy relationships, you have to understand how to communicate.
Then you should know what
boundaries and clarity
about
yourself, the kind of boundaries you set for yourself. 3, know how to resolve conflict. And resolving conflict is you and the person against the problem, not you versus the person, right? It's not war. It's not World War III. You're not destroying nation.
Number 4.
Pause.
Have a pause for yourself. Have
a pause button. Set emotional rules.
Set emotional rules. Like if maybe keeping something here annoys you, raise the bar. Determine that this thing being kept here will not annoy you. You can count 1 to 100. By the time you get to 100, you no longer be angry. Or in fact, count backwards. That one is more. You need more attention.
Oh, you need more attention to count backwards.
If I'm counting 1 to 100,
if you count 1 to 100, people will do it fast. If you start from 100, 99, 98.
You'll be paying attention. And then what else? Breathe. And know the kind of apology that you're accepting. If the apology starts with, I am sorry if you are angry, or if I annoyed you, it is not an apology. But if the person acknowledges how you feel and your pain and says, I'm sorry that I... And also when you're angry and you want to communicate how you feel to someone, be able to use the words that communicate how you feel. Not, I don't like that thing you did, though. I don't like it. Why don't you like it? Because it made me feel belittled, because it made me feel taken for granted, because it made me feel unimportant.
Another thing to add to what Eketi is saying is, there's something I put out on my social media as well. Always ask why. I'm angry. Why are you angry?
Okay.
If you can answer the question of why you're maybe I'm angry because I took my sweet. Why are you angry that I took your sweet?
Because it's my own.
Because it's my own. Why are you angry that I took your sweet? Because
I bought it with my money.
Why are you angry that I bought it with your money?
Because I wanted to eat it.
Why do you want to eat it?
Because I like the sweet.
Why do you like the sweet?
My taste buds wants this sweet.
Why does your taste buds want the sweet?
Who told you to take my sweet?
So do you see what's going on?
Yes.
For every why that you ask, you open a deeper box, right?
Okay.
So for example, let me use a practical example before we close.
So someone else has a question. My question is coming late. However, how do you deal with childish and insecure colleagues who tend to use you to build their security? Or just rub it off on you?
Confront it.
Thunder. Tell them that thunder will fire them.
Confront it. That's the thing. Like you have to that's why I gave the example of my client and in her workspace. You have to confront it. The thing that people don't understand is that human beings are...
They don't expect the response, they expect the reaction.
Yes. They don't expect the response, they expect the reaction. 2, they are inherently selfish.
True.
Being kind is a learned behavior for most people. Just people that are naturally kind.
Yeah.
But being
like
kind
me.
is a learned behavior for a lot of people. So they expect, they are inherently selfish. And why I say that is because they continue to take, right?
Yes.
So they'll keep taking, they'll keep
and
rubbing stuff.
sometimes they don't even know
They don't realize that they are takers.
Yes.
There are most people that think...
A lot of friendships where people take friends for granted. It's like they didn't set out to take them for granted. It's just that you've always been that way.
And nobody has ever corrected the behavior.
And this reminds me of a friend of mine. I fetched water. She had a 150 or so liter drum. She was living on the 4th floor. We were both living on the 4th floor. I went to the 1st floor because we didn't have tap. We used to have a well. The tap wasn't running. Yeah. So I went to the 1st floor and I fetched water from the well. And I filled up her 150 liter drum. Then I filled up 200 liters for another friend on the same 4th floor in one day. My back, my waist, my everything. And this is me climbing 16 flights of stairs, Abby? Yes. Do you know that when she came back, I did this because she had traveled for a long time. She was coming back. I just wanted her to come back to a clean house. So I cleaned her house and everything. Do you know when she came back, she was very happy. And then later that evening, when everybody had left, she called me and told me, in your life, don't ever do that again. I get that you're a nice person. I get that you're an amazing friend. But you put yourself, you put yourself in a place where I could take you for granted. You've bent over backwards so much that it is unnecessary. You don't need to do this. Even if you didn't clean this house, we'd still be friends. And the funny thing was that I didn't even mean anything by it. But you know, a lot of times when people keep telling you that you're a nice person, you're such a nice person, oh, Selema is such a nice person, Eket is such a nice person, Eket is such a nice person. People say that thing so much about me, when actually the fact was I didn't have boundaries. Yeah. When people keep telling you that, watch out. If people keep telling you you're such a nice person, it actually means you're someone who doesn't have boundaries.
And that's something I put on Twitter today, actually, on my account.
Retweet it.
Something about when you're a natural giver.
Yeah,
right?
People would, I read that. The people would take you.
When you're a natural giver, people would take till you have nothing else to give.
True.
Like they will take and take and take and take till they take your soul and drain it.
And you have to learn how to.
You have to learn how to set boundaries, because takers don't have any. They have no boundaries whatsoever. You have to have boundaries if you're a natural giver, because there is the possibility for you to extend past yourself. And if you notice, when you're a natural giver, when you start to extend past yourself, you'll notice how you're always tired in relationships.
Me too. Yes.
Like you're always tired before. Like if somebody even wants to talk to you and let's be friends, you're tired before it happens.
And I got to that point where I was actually having bad thoughts about my friends because I felt like they were not reciprocating what I was giving. When the actual fact was, I was giving too much. It was okay for me to say no at some point, that no, I can't do it.
And that's another thing of when you're operating from the point of Jesus Christ, right? Is that we don't also know that you don't also know that it's okay for you to say no. Yes. God wants you to give, right? Love your neighbor as much as you love yourself, not more than yourself. People always, and natural givers always love more than themselves. Do you understand? Love your neighbors as much as you love yourself. So the way that you want to give to people, like give to yourself that same kind of grace and kindness, because if you extend past it, you will notice that you're yourself consistently tired.
Yes. Sometimes like you actually see a phone call and you're
like literally, like it got to a point where for me it got to a point where like literally when people are calling, when my phone is ringing, I'm like, oh God, not again. Oh my God,
you know, you're and then my sister would always tell me, you say no now. And I'm like, how do I say without hurting? He says like
so
so someone said, what if it's a superior? She touched on that.
I spoke
you have
about
to pause,
I think you have to
breathe, count, and then later on you can revisit that matter. Yeah.
And when you do it, people I think Nigerians don't know the difference between expressing their point respectfully and being rude. You have to know that there's a very thin line.
Yes, that's the thing. You could actually say to a superior, ma'am, like someone said to me, you're stupid. I said, excuse me, ma'am, I am not stupid. I said it right away. I didn't want her to say that I am stupid. Then later I'll come back and I'll tell her, please, I don't appreciate being spoken to. No. I said, with all due respect, ma'am, I am not stupid. you know, you say that like, insults. She have insulted me. Do you know that I am older?
And that's one thing about Nigerians.
I senior the senior that senior you.
Another thing about Nigerian superiors and bosses is
Yes.
that the typical ones are not emotionally intelligent, right? They do that thing of Nigerians typically do. They don't do respect. They do intimidation.
Yep.
So they want to shut you up,
so that you true.
And then like force the respect out of you. When that's not really respect, it's just fear, because you're afraid of losing your job. So stuff like that, like in that moment, like, I'm sorry, ma. Like, let her finish shouting, I'm sorry, ma. I'm not stupid. This is what happened. So learn to do that.
And the more you do that respectfully, they'll begin to know that, okay, you're not one of those people
that they can talk to anyhow.
You know, who they are going to talk to anyhow.
What's there? Any other question?
No other questions.
Okay, so establish your boundaries. Know how to communicate. There's also something called emotional needs, but if you want to learn that one, come and take the course.
Okay, so yes, before we go, so let me tell you that Selema has a course on emotional intelligence, building healthy relationships. The price, what the course
for building healthy relationships?
Yeah.
It depends.
Okay.
It can be broken into like different,
so that in case you don't want to do everything,
the whole thing,
you can do what is tailored for you. So you can reach out to her. She's on Facebook as Selema Enang.
Please, if you are looking for me, please,
or you can
Facebook
go on.
It's hard. I don't check it all the time.
Don't spoil this market.
But don't check it. Okay. Send me a message on Facebook. Don't write on my wall. I might not see it, but send me a message on Facebook.
No, send her an inbox message, or you can find her on Twitter
and Instagram.
At the Fit Priest.
No, at Selema Enang.
Oh, is it Selema Enang?
Yeah.
Okay, at Selema Enang, right? She's known as the Fit Priest on Instagram. But just look at Selema Enang.
But my emotional intelligence page is at Selema Enang.
She used to gym.
Move. My emotional intelligence page is at Selema Enang, so on Twitter and on Instagram.
And she can do meal plans for you. She does meal plans. This delicious zobo, sugar-free zobo, but man, delicious. So delicious in a way in which I cannot explain it. But you'll find her there on Twitter, you'll find her on Instagram. She's like me, she really loves Jesus. We're sold out to Jesus. Don't see how she's looking hard like this. Jesus has touched her heart. She's now a soft somebody. It's just like me. So thank you so much to everybody that took part in this class. Thank you for your questions. Thank you for your engagement. Thank you for your participation. I really appreciate it. You people used to make me proud. You people used to make me proud. So Ajifa says, every time you respectfully express your grievances, they begin to cry and tell you you've hurt them. How do I deal with this?
Wait, who is they? Is he your boss?
The superior, yes.
They cry. Mad.
No, not like they cry, like they'll keep.
They used to cry.
Ajifa, sorry.
I'm sorry.
So we're going to end this session, but I will answer your questions. Selema will take your question. See, the thing is, that is what is called emotional blackmail and manipulation. The person is trying to blackmail you. Stand your ground. Stand your ground.
Like another thing is acknowledge what they are doing. Like or they are crying or they are sharp.
Yeah, I see that you're crying.
I can see that you're
see that you're crying.
However, I see that you're hurt. I see that you're upset, and I'm sorry.
And I'm sorry, but I need you to see how.
I need you to also see my own point of view from my perspective.
I too am angry. Can we come to a compromise? Can we reach a common ground on this?
Very important.
And if they insist on, blackmailing you, they keep on, ignore them. Just make sure that you don't shift back. You stand your ground and you insist on being respected. Okay? All right. So thank you so much, Boma, Chiamaka. Oh, I don't want to start calling names so that people know. Fifi, everybody that was here, Ebele, everybody that was here, Jennifer, Chiaka, Ajifa, everybody, Christopher, all of you amazing people. Eunice, Ne, mwah, you guys are the real deal. Thank you so much. Nkem, Chinedu, Star, thank God. All of you, you're just wonderful. Thank you for coming. So,
thank you guys.
We will have another session by the grace of God. If rapture does not happen, when we go to heaven, we'll have another session.
That's bribe me. Take me out.
I'll take her out so that she'll
I don't go to book out, please. Excuse me.
Somebody that going to buy palm oil rice at the
I don't eat. I'm sorry, I don't eat palm oil. I'm not used to that.
He skills you.
I'm so sorry.
So Selema will be back. Selema will be back sometime in the nearest future, and I'm working in. We'll have another part of this session next week, Friday. Hopefully, I'm going to bring someone to talk to us about mental health and young people, because and why a lot of us need therapy. I know that some people abuse this thing where they like every little thing, they be like, oh, you need therapy, you need therapy. Yeah, all of us don't need therapy, but a lot of us do need therapy, and why it is important that we unpack a lot of these things that we're feeling.
Especially if you have a childhood that was not so pleasant.
Yes, especially if you had an unpleasant childhood. So we will do that next week. So thank you so much to everybody. Yvonne, thank you very much. Nora, God bless you. Mwah, over and out. Let me go and raid Selema's fridge.